So we're going to start today with a traditional Ravnica Allegiance draft. This is a best 2 out of 3 gem-only entry. One of the nice things about this draft, though, is that the more wins you get, you really rack up the packs. We are close to 4xing our rares and mythics for Ravnica Allegiance on this account. And getting these packs really helps with that, getting some extra, because it fills in your gaps, right? So if we get to, say, 4 wins, we're going to get 5 packs that will absolutely fill 5 of the remaining few dozen slots we're trying to fill in our 4x quest. So let's dive in. Unbreakable Formation is a 20 gem pick, and it's a strong pick, and it's a single color pick. We would go in Orzhov or Azorius quite happily. Might wheel this Gate. Probably will wheel this Panther and this Orator. So we're probably going to wheel something to go with the formation. And Rhythm of the Wild is also very good, but it's 2 color, and I really love the white guilds in this format. I will play anything that's the open guild, but if I can choose, I'm kind of right now in the Azorius Orzhov mindset, so I'm down with the gems and the strong pick here. Now we have an interesting second pick with a very strong Bell Haunt or a very strong Gateway Sneak, heading in the Azorius direction versus the Orzhov direction. I kind of want to go with the Bell Haunt because we feel like we end up in gate decks all the time. There's also the Soarform Hybrid, which you could argue is one of the stronger picks in the pack. Arynx is also good, but given the Unbreakable Formation, we'd love to use that. So I'm thinking Haunt or Sneak, and could be talked into either one depending on where chat is at. Where are we at, chat? 100% on... So let's do this. 100% on Haunt so far. Okay, I'm down. It's kind of where I want to try. Final Payment supports the Orzhov we've got going. We had 3 uncommons in the last pack, so there was nothing to check. But now we have the old 2 uncommons, so we'll run and check our print run. Collision Colossus and Biogenic Upgrade have Vindictive Vampire and Gateway Sneak surrounding it, which is... Hopefully they took a Sneak and not our Vindictive Vampire, but good to be aware that we're either looking at a black pick or a blue pick from a bot upstream here. Hybrid hasn't been wheeling as much lately. I don't know if they snuck in changes to the bots. I think they would tell us if they did, but who knows. Thank you for posting the print run there, Fiddles. So where does this leave us here? Probably just with the final payment and stick with our first 2 picks here. It's funny how draft goes, though. You know, this Unbreakable Formation led us into white, whereas if we had not taken the formation, what was the other? What else were we looking at? Rhythm of the Wild. So if we'd taken Rhythm of the Wild, we would totally be down this a completely different path right now, just leaning into cards that support cards we've already taken. Look at all that black and white. That is great to see. And a gate that we could get for potential splashing. We also have a 2 uncommon situation, so let's go look up what we've got missing. Forbidding Spirit and Spire Mangler have Ministrant of Obligation and Gates Ablaze around it. We're hoping they took, of course, the Gates Ablaze, but we could be facing a Orzhov Drafter upstream. We should be aware of that, but I don't think it changes where... I mean, here's where we're at. And as far as what's the best here, I'm looking at Spire Mangler over the Forbidding Spirit. I think there's also Slimebind. If we wanted to think Esper, we could take a Slimebind here and just look to take the highest quality card out of the pack. Yes. I don't think Forbidding Spirit is much more than a 3/3 for 3 and a difficult one at that. I think I've played one because we just happen to be in those colors and needed the curve filler, but I'm not impressed with this card and would much rather have the Spire Mangler. I think it's clearly Spire Mangler over the Spirit. But there is some, if you really want to lean Esper, you could make an argument for Slimebind, but hard to do that with all this white, black in the pack. Feels like we're headed in the right direction here. Here's a Soroforms continuing to go around. We have a Dead Revels we can pick up here. Is probably the strongest for Orzhov, but let's keep an eye on what's going on at the uncommons. We have another lookup here, Gyre Engineer. Gyre Engineer and Wilderness Reclamation have, too bad, Consecrate, Consume, and Regenesis. We are kind of in the wrong seat, actually. It seems pretty clear now that we have an Orzhov drafter right upstream from us. I'm not sure there's anything we can do about it here. I'm not going to pivot into a Soroform Hybrid or a Gyre Engineer at this point when there's Dead Revels and Plaza. We could take a Plaza to be a little bit more open to splashing Esper. So if the bots are in your colors upstream, one thing you can do to mitigate is to branch out into more of a 3-color strategy. If you look at the colors, if you go to the spreadsheet and look at what we've been drafting in this format, in terms of colors, there are a lot of splashes, splash 3-color decks that aren't just gate decks, you know? So there's that as well. But I think, yeah, this is just, Dead Revels is just a fine card. It's a little early for where I want to grab it, but what are we going to do, you know? Vampire, Grudian, and Caracal are all just kind of so-so creatures, pretty replaceable, really, so I kind of want to take the gate here. I think this is the worst. I would play either of these, and if I did not have this gate, I would take the Grudian as the best of these marginal creatures, but I'm going to take the gate. There's some support for the Admonition, and yes, we could still be Esper, and that maybe is a little sign of that. Also, let's check our drill bit print run stuff. Might as well. Drill bit above has Rally to Battle and Lizrog. Those aren't particularly good, and below has Rakdos, Firewheeler, and Gruul Beastmaster. Those are likely what's been taken out of this pack from an uncommon standpoint. Hey, Peacetime, how goes? Look at this. Pick 7 High Alert. Over... we are in best of 3. We could take Consign, Expose, or High Alert. And we don't have anything really going... This gets slightly helped, but we don't really have anything else. But it's early. We could go into Esper High Alert. So Esper High Alert direction... And we don't have to marry that. You know, this could just be a hedge. We're like, okay, pick 7 High Alert. That's kind of a signal. And maybe we should listen to that. We only have to give up what amounts to a sideboard card and a clunky removal spell we only want one of probably anyway. So this is a reasonable time to take such a speculative pick. And you could also spec on the red-black Guildgate to potentially splash some red later. But I think, yeah, we can take a High Alert and probably not play it. But if we end up playing it, it will be because we did a smart thing and are in a great place. So it's like, this is a very low chance of making our deck, but if it does, it will be one of the best cards in our deck, right? So let's take a shot. Is a late High Alert really a signal against bots? The thing is, it's not like the bots are... like, the bots are defined by humans, right? Like... humans define ultimately how the bots work because the bots are looking at how humans pick. So if humans pick High Alert relatively highly, eventually, like, I don't know how things like, I don't know how Hybrid is the way it is. Hybrid does not feel like the bots are drafting it anywhere nearly like humans drafting it. But when it comes to gold cards in particular, I think you can get a pretty strong signals from gold cards from bots because they really only take them when they're in those 2 colors. So the reason that this is a signal to me is that it's a playable gold card that's their pick 7, and it kind of means that if any of the last 2 or 3, like if the bots 2 or 3 to our right were in Esper or were settled into Azorius, they would have picked this card. They really would have. So they undervalue High Alert, but if they had been in blue-white, they still would have picked this by now. So there you go. That's what I was thinking. And Fairy Duelist would go into that deck, but let's not get crazy here. Well, but there's a Knight of the Last Breath that's in more of our direct colors, but it's proven pretty clunky and unworthy. Trumpeter has a red activation. I don't really want it in Orzhov, although if we end up with some jugglers, we'd be happy with all the 2s we could take. This is pretty replaceable as well, and if we end up with bunches of jugglers, we're really going to want a 1/3 menace, actually. So I'm going to take the 2-drop that we might not play, but if we have the jugglers at the end of this, we're going to want it. And it's pretty cool to get a counter on, a 2/4 base 2/4 menace is pretty good attacker. This is a fine wheeled Twilight Panther. Not as much wheeled from this pack as maybe we were hoping to see. As I recall, there was some there was like an Azorius Gate and some other white cards that we thought might come around. But we'll take it now. I want the second Gate over the second Panther here. This is pretty late now. We got to pay attention to that. Here's another Trumpeter, but kind of want to take the Admonition and hedge here a bit, even though Trumpeter and Officer are playable in a non-blue deck. This is just such a good card. I feel compelled to take it here and see what's up. Here's the heavy white-black pack, and it's great to see that literally white-black is all that's left. So we'll take a consign here. We're going to be more control-y, it looks like, than anything else. Take Prying Eyes as a possibility, but I'm going to take Vault Progress with the uncommon. And same here. I really don't want to play that Caracal if I can ever help it. And a fantastic last pick, Exposed to Daylight. Here's a reason to splash some red, huh? And we do have 4 showstoppers, so this is going to be worth 40 gems right off the bat. And we're definitely going to try and find the gate to splash this bad boy. We're splashing the showstopper, so we could splash, get the point. We could also take an Ill-Gotten or some gate support. I think Orzhov is open enough that we can probably wheel this gate. We have 2 already, so I don't think I want to take the gate here. I want to probably just get the point and try to splash. Definitely splash the red. Kind of makes the High Alert Admonition splash less likely, but Rakdos, get the point, is an awfully fine red splash here. Might end up splashing white in a Rakdos deck, but I sure like this Bellhaunt and would like to play it. But we'll keep an eye out. It's possible that the red flows so heavily that Bellhaunt becomes trumped by things like get the point and Rakdos. So we'll keep an eye on that. And like, here's a skewer we could take if we thought that was more likely. But a Plague White is a little safer. We know for sure we're black, and we love the Plague White. If we wanted to be Orzhov control, this is not the worst pick. A lot of support for the skewer all of a sudden. Is there maybe a stronger feeling that we could end up abandoning this Bellhaunt? I don't know. We do have a Trumpeter. Are we splashing this too? Like if we end up splashing white, then we're kind of looking, let's say we ended up splashing white. We'd be looking at something like this is our base point. That's a reasonable splash as well. This is a tough one. Chat really wants the skewer. Yeah, a skewer is the best card here. I'm not arguing that point, but just because in pack 2, pick 3, just because the card is the best doesn't mean you take it, right? We got to figure out if we really want to speculate in that direction, with the cost being a sure playable like the Plague White. But, you know, there's a possibility this wheels if black is a little bit underdrafted here. But chat seems pretty set on skewer, and I'm not so opposed that I won't follow along with the will of the people here. Here's a blade juggler. Been looking for these dudes. Now we finally get one. You take that over the inheritance or the gate. All right, it's looking like the skewer lean is paying off. We have Rakdos Guildgate we could take. We're going to take one of these two. What do you think is better, the Fireblade Artist or the Acrobat? Hope we wheel like a Storm Strike. It'd be nice to get a little combat trick going for this deck. Storm Strike plus Death Touch would be good. Yeah, I was leaning Artist too, and looks like the chat largely agrees. 2 drops with this dude are great. I'll take an Imp here, or Late Admonitions. Bladebrand or Grudian. I'd like the... I'll take the stealthy Death Touch over the straight up Death Touch. We're also, since we're in leaning into Rakdos now, we can end up with that uncommon that Plague wins your opponent with the Bladebrand. Mockery is splashy, but we want just either a dumb 2 or the slightly better 3. Let's check our curve and see how much we need 2s. We might just need to take the dumb 2 here over the much better 3, but we're kind of low on 3s as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Roustabout, and we'll make a strong point of 2 drops the rest of the way. Here's a 2 we could prioritize, but probably not over the Inheritance. Inheritance is a great curve topper for... Well, we've got a great curve topper here, but you know what I mean. Curve out into Ill-Gotten is nice for the Rakdos deck. Oh yeah, Jugs are 3s, that's true. I left them in the 5. The Cry came back, and we could consider it, but here is just a playable 4, too. Here, let's put the Jugs where they belong. But, like, see, these are not real 3s, right? Here, I'm going to just... It's kind of like stuff... Oh, wait, no, this, like this over here. Stuff we're not really playing on curve, you know? Like this. Not even this, really. Just trying to understand really what our curve looks like. Yeah, I don't think we can take the Cry. It's too non-bow with what we're doing. So we'll look for bears, definitely, from here, but we're going to take the Imp on this one. Another Ill-Gotten or another Gate. We do want to splash this formation and probably the payment, but we're going to take another Ill-Gotten here. Hey, Grudian came back. That's cool. That's a fine little playable. Thirsting Shade, you are not a fine little playable in my estimation, but if we are that desperate for cheap creatures, maybe we'll become what we hate. What do we do to deserve this? Ding, ding. 2 days in a row with the Absolution. And there's a Judgment here that's like amazing, but I'm taking the white. We got to get ourselves to Blade Jugglers, and now with Ethereal Absolution, we want to prioritize creatures as well. I could have taken Mirror Match for the loot, but I want to... Oh man, I saw this and was feeling like... in my head, we're still Orzhov, you know? But we should probably just take the Skewer here. Oh, man. Some support for the Thrall. Let's not push the white splash any farther than we need to, though. When there's something as quality as a Skewer here. Yeah, we do need some more fixing, but not at this pick. You know, if we have to cut the Unbreakable formation on the final payment and go straight... Oh, if we just have 2 Guild Gates in the Absolution, that's fine. But we would like some more fixing, but I think we just have to take Skewer here. Too good to just take Skewer. We could take a Footlight Fiend over a Roustabout in that at least Footlight Fiend attacking on turn 3 guarantees a Blade Juggler short of an whatever wall. We might not play Consign. Right now we're playing it just because of our playable count, but we'll probably end up cutting this. If you want, we can even cut it now. I think you're right. We'll probably cut that. Yeah, let's take the Fiend. I've talked myself into Fiend. We could take this to support the White Splash, but Wrecker is just a good enough playable that we should probably just take the Wrecker. Pretty boring, though. But I don't want to be spending 2 mana to get this Plaza into play. And I like the Wrecker at 4 a little more than the Recluse at 5, I think. We only have the 1/5. Got a lot of 4s. We could take another 5, I suppose. We are trying to get to 6, so it's not like... Yeah, actually, maybe... Now I want the Recluse. Change my mind. Trumpeter is just what the doctor ordered here. Perfect card for us. And another Footlight Fiend appeals to me more so than a Spewer for the early... enabling of jugglers, although I'm lower on Footlight Fiend than a lot of people, I think, although with a Blade Brand maybe we can find a second. It definitely gets fun with a Blade Brand, I give you that. So we'll take another one. All right, another 2-drop. So we're filling out our 2s with hard to block stuff pretty nicely here. High Alert deck was definitely available to us. Could have had the double High Alert deck, but I'm fine with where we ended up. I don't think I want a 3rd Fiend, though, over a 2nd Grudian. Let's look at curve again. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 7 things now that can turn on a Juggler on 3. So I'm more inclined to just take the Grudian here. Still some support for the Fiend. Fiend number 3. I don't think we want Fiend number 3. I'm going to take the Grudian. You still like more Fiends, huh, Fawn? Well, let's see. We have 1 Grudian and, like, no... Yeah, like a 2nd Death Toucher. Yeah, Fiend plus Blade Brand is nice, but I think 3 of these you start to get into places where your cards your hand isn't impactful enough. I mean, you don't like the Spire Mangler, but whatever. It's a 2/1 flash flyer. It's a 2/1 flash flyer that when it flashes can be a 4/1. It's fine. It's fine to good. It's not amazing. We're certainly not cutting it. So anyway, I'm going to take the Grudian here. That's where I'm at with that. Too bad we didn't get a little more fixing. Would love if this had been like an Orzhov Gate or something. But we'll take a Goblin here and consider it. You could also take an Act of Treason. So Act of Treason is a fine board card. If we're not going to play the Gravelhide, we should take the Act of Treason because we could bring that out of the board. Gravelhide is really just a 2/1 here for us. Are we really going to play a 2/1 with no rules text to support the Blade Jugglers beyond the 7 support cards we already have for them? Yeah, too many Grudians is a thing, but I don't think two Death Touchers is too many. This is best of 3, and yes, I suppose while we figure this pick out, let me update all this stuff. Best of 3. All right, where are you guys at now? Full on act. Okay, I'm with you. Here's a mock-up, but we have yet another Trumpeter. The 4 Trumpeter deck probably is correct over the Mockery. These get worse in multiples, though. You can't really activate a bunch. Like, 3 is kind of... like, we might want a Maka just having a 2-2 over a 1-3. I don't know. I suppose the Menace is still good. All right. And a sideboard. Hey, look. All right, now I wish I had another Footlight Fiend. 80 from the grind. And there was nothing to craft. I believe we had all of the cards, all the rares we drafted. Is that right? We'll see. How many rares do we get? We got the just the 3 we're playing. Then yeah, I think that's it. We got this one, and this one, and we had 4 of each already when we went in. So yeah. All right, now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get my own spreadsheet up here so I can make note of those 80 gems before I forget. Most stuff I can look up pretty easily, but if I don't write that down, I have to go back into the replays to remember what the heck happened during the day. This is paid. No, this is free to play, right? Traditional draft RNA, and we are black, red, white. We paid 1,500 gems to join this, and we just earned 80 on the grind. And we'll call this one... Every deck where I have an Absolution is going to be called Absolute something. So this is Absolute Showstopper. Now then, 46 cards. We got some cuts to make. We have 18 creatures, 11 non-creatures, so we want to cut a mix. I think we cut down... Do we play a final payment? We're gonna get cute with multiple blade brands. We need to cut things like a final payment. Could cut like Grudian and an Imp. What does that do for creatures? That leaves us still with like 16 creatures. These go here. Could even cut the formation. I don't know. Hey, thank you for that sub. Enjoy the new emotes. Roustabout isn't great, no, but I mean, I almost would rather cut the second Grudian and save those for the matchups where we know green is producing huge ground pounders. So that could be an option. Like Rakdos Roustabout is meh, but a nice generic meh that we can take out for whatever we're sideboarding in. Dingus, I was just asking that. Is this, maybe we even just cut the Unbreakable formation. This is our Unbreakable formation, right? I kind of like that. I think we cut that. And then we really just focus our splash in on this amazing Absolution. Do we need the imp? We don't need it, but it doesn't hurt to have something up in the air. We don't have anything else in the air except Rakdos and Absolution tokens. And we have 2 skewers and a Get the Point and kind of this Blade Brand stuff, but it's not like we're just loaded with clean removal either. Hey, Thrash Mob. I'm glad you caught that episode and that it brought you here with us today. Welcome. Now, what do we cut? We got 2 more cuts to make. Let's check our numbers again. We're at 16-9, maybe 1 creature, 1 spell. Maybe cut 1 of the Blade Brands. Yes, it's cute with the Footlight Fiend, but we don't need to push it that hard. And maybe we can cut a Trumpeter even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, we have 7 1s and 2s that lead into the Juggler. I think that's enough. And now we go on mana. Do we want this Plains? We have 2 Guild Gates for the Ethereal. It's strong enough to be worth splashing on 2 sources, but do we want to just add a 3rd? It really cuts into our ability to be consistent at the low end, but we're also pretty low on red, honestly. So I think we can play the Plains just because we don't need that many mountains. Like Fireblade Artist and Roustabout are the only 2 red spells that we're going to feel pressure to cast before turn 5, you know? Yeah, Mark, we were talking about, we had 2 Blade Brands and we're considering the double combo, but I'm thinking, I'm going to cut the Greeting before the Blade Brand. I guess we can try that. Need? Aztrith asks if we need, I mean, what does one need truly when it comes to a Magic Limited deck? I mean, we don't need any. We could do that. But do we win more than we lose if we include them? And I think the answer is yes here. I think we're aggressive enough to say yes. I think we can run with this. And here we are again with this question, though. I think I want to run the Plains. And then we have 9, 7, 3 if we do it this way. Nine, 7, 3 seems fine for this mana base. The Plains does hurt. I really don't like it, but you know what would hurt a lot? Having 6 mana and an Absolution in hand and no white mana anywhere. So I kind of want to do the Plains. If our demands on red were higher, I would swap the Plains for a mountain, but because our red demands are actually fairly minimal, we can do that, I think. We have a second imp that actually combos with our Rakdos. I don't think it's necessarily a reason to play it, but it's not something we talked about, the fact that we actually do have safe from Rakdos cards in our sideboard. Almost. Replace any of these with a swamp and I snap keep this, but we're going to mulligan. Alright, we're going to keep this and find a 2, and it's all going to be fine. It's a factor. If you don't think you're going to be shuffling, Skeptical Hat says, how does the new mulligan interact with splashed mana? This deck as an example, can you just never bottom your planes? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to ditch the Blade Brand. If you don't have a shuffle effect, then probably not. Unless, but in this case, you go, that's all right. We'll find one of those two gates eventually or whatever. I should have led with a swamp just because we know that it's in higher demand in the deck, but it's all right. All right, got there on an attacker for the Blade Brands. Yeah, I don't know why anybody would keep the Blade Brand there, or sorry, Fireblade is what I meant to say. I said, but I ditched the Blade Brand because we don't even have something to cast it on. Don't think they're going to want to trade, but maybe. If they do, they will have secretly made me sad. But there are worse things than trading off for a hybrid, so... Oh, thank you. Appreciate the camera reminder.
Some say I never heard of ya. A rap.
That's awkward. Terramander's too far away from 5/5 for me to be really scared, but we have nothing else going on, and I question whether we're going to be able to skewer anything coming out of a Rhythm of the Wild-based attack. So I'm actually a little concerned about that. I'm going to go ahead and skewer the Terramander now. Well, isn't that cute, deck? That's very cute of you to give me no plays in 4 cards in my low curve deck. Appreciate that, deck. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here exactly with these two, but it's funny. Nice. He should give her haste. That's just my thought. In hindsight, no, I don't think you sacrifice your creature just to turn on the juggler. I mean, yeah, the juggler replaces itself, but that doesn't seem correct to me. Well, this is done. So we could add a little extra. We have the 3 sources. We could bring in expose. They're showing some good targets for that. I kind of like that. Maybe an expose for a blade brand. Could bring in an act. This is probably a place for Grudion over Roustabout. What about FP? Now I have to look through, oh, final payment. Yeah, it's possible. I think I would rather like bring in 2 Grudions and cut the Mangle. There's the Mangler, or the Mangler is an insect. Okay, so I don't think we ended up with a Spewer. No. Here I can go to deck building. A little bit more out of the way. Um, 30 seconds here. Right now I like this swap. Yeah, I'm going to run with this. We'll see if that splashed enchantment removal is worth it or not. No, I don't want to play drill bit. Well, we're keeping this, even though, again, it's not quite as early aggro as we would like. Hey, Fiddles, we'll see ya. Sorry, we're going to draw a 2-drop creature right here. Come on, 2-drop creature. Yes. Called and received. Okay. Now I'm feeling a lot better. We're going to get these jugglers going unless they pull removal right here. Oh, good. And we get to skewer that incubation druid before it gets out of hand. Next turn should be double attack and then blade juggle and skewer. That's my plan right now. And then we follow the turn after with an inheritance, and hopefully that just pushes us to the finish. I couldn't be more thrilled to have my 3/2 draw card eat premium removal. We're going to do that. And that. Oh, and we even got the Revels. Very nice. Go ahead, kill the other one, please. Ah, they probably will here. Let's find out. Oh. So beautiful. However, with a guild gate, I'm gonna wait on the Revels, and we're just gonna go inheritance here. We threaten a 3/3 that if they double blocked, we would get to trade 4 mana and our Trumpeter for one of their creatures. That seems fine to me because we still get to Revels afterwards, so I'm going to go ahead and send with the Trumpeter. And if they block, we'll take out the Hybrid as the more problematic upcoming creature. Although we do have a Noxious Grudian, so maybe the Flyer is a little more problematic. I'm going to go with, let's get rid of the Hybrid. You think the Flyer? Hybrid is easier, and they don't have time to adapt right now. Easier to handle with Death Touch. Yeah, but we're not sure we get to keep our Death Toucher. If they kill our Death Toucher, then suddenly a 6/6 could actually threaten us. That's what I'm thinking about. So I'm actually going to do it this way. I want to take out the Hybrid. Now I'm going to revel back the Jugglers, I think. Hat doesn't like my line. Well, I'll come heckle your stream. Not that you were heckling, I'm just saying. I understand what you're worried about. Let's see, we can play the... let's play Juggler with this mana. And maybe just a couple Trumpeters here, actually. If we draw an untapped land, we draw a basic land, we threaten double Trumpeter activation, which is going to be very good for us if Oppo is trying to stay back on D here. We did not get land number 8, so we can't threaten that double pump. If we attack with everything, Aeromunculus probably eats the Juggler, and we get in, we activate once, get in for 4, and have 3 left over for the other Juggler, or the Grudian. Yeah, they do have Mystic Mana up. That is an excellent observation. We could give them the Footlight Fiend first and see what they do with that. Let's toss out this and see what happens. Should have used red, though. There was a pause, but of course they have this activation, so it's going to pause on anything. Hey, Valhalis. Well, let's throw out the Juggler. See if they have the Mystic. They got to Mystic that if they do. They did have a counter, not the one we thought, so actually that's okay. That's better than a 2-for-1. Now we do at least get also the double attack here. No reason to suicide in the juggler, but we do get a couple of free hits from the trumpeters. Right on, Valhallis. Glad you were able to pop in. How long are you on it? Traveling for work or something? Ah, Blade Brand is an excellent pickup here. And it helped almost no matter what we do here, we're pretty golden. So now with the Blade Brand, we just get to swing away happily, and they're in big trouble. Perfect. So we Blade Brand the Footlight Fiend, and then we get to ping the Rumbling Ruin when the Footlight Fiend dies. And we get a little extra here as well. Combo acquired. We're presenting lethal here, and Oppo agrees. They didn't play anything to expose this time. Maybe we're being a little reactionary to bring in expose. Especially as a splash color. We might just be better with a final payment instead. Or even a consign to the pit. Just pay a lot. Yeah, they showed two decent ones, but I don't know. Yeah, we could just bring in another Blade Brand. That worked pretty well. I don't want a final payment, though. Let's see, what time do we have? We have a minute. I'm feeling like we could get in... Oh, we have one full-on destroy. I just want to make sure we have, like... We can take care of some big-end stuff that the skewers can't touch. But I think I like where we're at here now. Johan, you're welcome. Hey, cool. I think you're the first person I've heard, Johan, who's gone from YouTube to here instead of here to YouTube. So welcome. Awesome to have you here today. We're gonna go with this. That's fine. How did you find the YouTube videos? Were you just searching for magic content? I'm just curious how I got in front of you. All right, we need a land, but this looks great. We go white into Blade Juggler if we can find the land. There's the land. White is not usually blockable by turn 3 plays, so hopefully it gets in there. I put like a million tags on my YouTube content, hoping for exactly that people like you would find me there. So it worked. Hooray! Algorithms. And really glad you came and found us, Johan. Helping people get better at draft is kind of what I'm all about here. It's the main goal of the stream. If you have any questions to specifically throw out, go for it. I try to talk through what I'm thinking about here. We found our 4th land, so that's great. We don't really have a 4th play, turn 4 play other than the Grudian right now. And we can't quite get the Aeromunculus unless we 2-for-1 ourselves, and is that worth it? It might actually be worth it with the Juggler. We've gained a card with the Juggler, so I think I'm actually willing to go down a card to then go to let them take either the White or the Juggler out, and then we get Skewer and Noxious. I'm willing to do that here. Yeah, if Oppo can stay stuck on 3, I like our chances quite a bit. Rocket is my doggy dog. When the mail comes, you'll hear from Rocket. Oppo still can't block. Jackie Treehorn could be. They can just block either of these, and I'd be happy. Yeah, and they also cut themselves off from Adapt. And we'll just Trumpet and Fiend here. And we're looking for... I mean, I'd take a Plains off the top. How about a Plains off the top? No Plains, but a land is great, and Oppo continues to deny themselves hybrid opportunity or adapt opportunities, but maybe they're stuck on 3 and figure, look, I'm never going to adapt this hybrid. I should make it a 3/3 while I can. So I get that. We're just gonna... We can get the point, clear the way for 4, whereas we can also just attack for 2 and get the Recluse down. I like that. We're just going to attack for 2. Get the Recluse down, and then we have a get the point-based attack next turn. We just look it up on... Oh, shoot, I totally missed the Trumpeter attack. Sorry, folks. I was just spaced on the Menace. My bad. So the print run, though, you can find if you do exclamation point set code. So for in this case RNA and then print, you can get the print runs for any of the sets available, and that's only useful for the uncommons. 6 mana, and this is why I was saying would feel so sad, which is why we are running that 3rd Plains, that 3rd white source. We don't have it here. This is awfully suspicious that they've got 5 cards and counterspell mana. We saw Essence Capture, but not anything else. So there's no guarantee that they can counter this. Get the point? We're going to give it a try. Yeah, show me. Definitely show me. Hey, we'll keep that. So Oppo should be at 1. We'll see if that matters. Hopefully it will not. They got unlucky there. They got stuck on mana and we pressed the advantage. But we'll certainly take it. Notch. First win of the day. Right on. Yeah, but we could have played it. All right, back in. Up a game, up a match anyway. Well, Johan, I'm glad you came in to stay as long as you could. That was really nice of you. Glad you found us live. And glad you found my content. Come hang out with us anytime you can. Alright, we get to keep this. Oppo goes to 6. Middling mage with the humble brags. Yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing though, middling mage. Like as you get close to the end, the only stuff you don't have 4 of is the garbage that you never pick in draft. Alright, we'll fireblade it here. A fair exile. We're a little stuck on land here, but Oppo not doing too much. Yeah, we'll do this. Go ahead and skewer this vamp. A little sad to use such quality removal on it, but we're pressing an agenda here. Get a land, we can... Alright, alright. Still no plays, but boy, we're a basic land away from doing some work. There we go. And we even get to attack with everything, because the footlight blocked gets to kill the roustabout. And I'm just going to drop Inheritance here. I could do the Imp, but let's keep things even with theirs, and then we slowly press our advantage. Oppo agrees. So, we saw Orzhov across the way. What do we like against Orzhov? Could bring this in. Add the other trumpeter. Make this the... We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 6 creatures that can attack for cavalcade damage. I think not, though. Not a Grudian matchup. We could bring in another Imp, potentially. There's likely to be annoying spirits in the air and whatnot. Formation, we decided not to run it. I'm not sure why we would bring it in against this deck specifically, unless you're saying like it gets our... We all have small creatures on the ground, and we're going to get ours a little bigger. I would rather... Maybe we're just leaving this as is. But I think, yeah, out of possible fear for the air, we'll bring that in and drop the roustabout. I think I like that. X-Star Dragon had 5 Goblin Gathering and still didn't play the Cavalcade. Interesting. Maybe it's just like, at that point, it's win more or something, that if you can attack at all with those, you're just going to win. I don't think this is keepable. We need to find our black mana. That's much better looking. Blade Brand is interesting. I think I'll keep the Blade Brand. Hello, Judith. No blocks. Judith. Maybe they'll attack with Judith, so... Well, I guess they won't. Not with the Footlight Fiend out, huh? But we get to do the, we get tricks here. We're gonna go ahead and attack with the Trumpeter to try and produce attacks so that we can Blade Brand Footlight Fiend and do that nonsense. Hope this works. We might just lose the Footlight Fiend here, but we gotta try. Yeah, it looks like they've got removal. Well, that was pretty much that game, but we had to make him have it, right? I mean, this game's not over, but that was big trouble. I like a graveyard. Don't want to necessarily do ours. Wouldn't mind the life. Gotta play the imp, though. Play the imp for no life so that we have something that can threaten to trade with that Maka. And not expecting the Trumpeter to do any blocking here, so we'll do some attacking. Argument for just racing, figuring that we'll start to pull away with these. But I still think even for racing, we can just race with these and make this trade. I think we're still racing. Peace, I just decided to make the trade. Ouch. That was very painful. But what are you gonna do? All right, game 3, you say. All right, I'm going to call this one, and I'm going to use the bathroom during sideboarding. So I'm going to scoop and be right back. Okay, then. I think we're running it back. Not much time for anything else here. All right, come on, let's see a good draw. That is not what I would call a good draw for this deck. In fact, we have to throw it back. These are powerful spells, but starting on 5 is not a keeper. Barely better, but I still think it's better. No problem, we just need a 2-drop into Juggler here and we'll be fine. What is Oppo's deck? Wasn't it Orzhov? I don't know what's going on here. I guess we skewer now and get rid of this artist. That sets us up next turn to imp the Fireblade. Deck. No more land, okay? Like, none. You're done with the land for the rest of this game, okay, deck? Please? Having crazy weather in Seattle in the sense that it was 75 yesterday and is going to be warmer today, like setting Seattle type records for this time of year. Well, joke's on you, Carnage. Oh my god, am I going to lose to another Thirsting Shade? That is not allowed. Can we attack? No. We got to block a vampire now. And a shade, apparently. Serious trouble. We need land into Absolution now, or other way around. There's the land. Are we just dead, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're not... We're gonna have to sacrifice the inheritance, but we're not dead. And this will just make it super exciting when we top deck the Absolution to save this match. Come on, it's going to be great. Oh, really? They're not going to pump, huh? Well... And do that to get a little cushion, and then we still need to get... No, couldn't do it. Too bad. Could not get cooperation from the deck enough times that match. We got the one good game out of it, but deck sputtered in the two losses. But we have we had one foul to give. Now we are up against elimination. And there's, you know, Footlight Fiend as a top deck is not usually amazing. That's why I don't love the card. Really wish we saw a 2 here, but I'm not going to mulligan this. A Trumpeter would be perfect off the top here. No such luck. That's really too bad. I didn't feel like we could mulligan this, but this is a really pathetic start. Oh, I hate this. Rakdos first play turn 4. Fortunately, we have some long game for this. You know, we're a Rakdos deck with late game power between our Mythic and our Absolution. At least we get a no value Carrion Imp next turn. Maybe Oppo has no lands. That would be okay too. Excuse me, shaking the table with my hiccups. Well, that's better for us than... Oops. Sorry, my second monitor cable slipped, and I'm losing my setup a bit. What are we doing anyway, though? We are not going to do, like, Trumpeter, so we're just imping, and we get 2 life because they had to discard. Really not going well for Oppo on that front, but we'll take it. And I'll try and reset my screen here the way that I like it. Sky Tether on that is no problem at all for me. All right. Recombobulated over here. It does make us have to full price the Blade Juggler, which is too bad, but there's nothing to Dead Revels or anything, so yeah, we'll just do this. Savant's annoying in that it trades successfully with the Juggler. But at least we got a card out of it. They're getting a card's worth of value out of this Savant. Scry 2 to the top, so they probably got some land coming based on what they seem to be missing. We could skewer it and continue to get in damage. Yeah, that would also prevent the fairy from being a problem. And we don't have much else to do. So not an all-star play here, but because of the risk of the fairy and the lack of much else to do, I'm going to go ahead and get aggressive. I'm going to go ahead and Get aggro, you might say. Well, how about that? We finally get to play this game, and what do you know? It does really good stuff. I ran it right into a possible quench, but I was going to make him have it, so we weren't going to play around quench the rest of the game. Card is gross. Sorry, Oppo. They put a cantrip creature on top of my library, so I can live with that as well. And with the Trumpeter getting through, we also get both Juggler and Absolution token, right? Do they have creatures? Yeah, they have two creatures to make tokens from. Oh, did I screw that up? Is it... oh, yeah, I screwed that up. Sorry. I was thinking it was not colored requirements on the token making. So... Can't get anything. We'll go ahead and skewer... Do we want to skewer that? I don't think we even need to skewer that yet. We'll just wait. Yeah, this probably goes to their face to end the game more than anything. Card is unfair. Just making sure, I guess. You got it? And now we'll go, we have Mangler and make a token. Oppo looking for answers, willing to pay 2 to scry 2. Yeah, I suppose I should have just blade branded to kill both, huh? I don't know why. I didn't because the block was so surprising. I wasn't expecting it at all. So when I was surprised with that block, I hadn't thought through what I would do in case that block happened and didn't think through the blade brand in hand. And I don't care about this attack. Maybe they've got... Yeah, I mean, I could make a token and block it, but like, I don't see why we care about blocking a Senate Griffin. Just gonna do this. That game worked out for him, Mujo. Alright, I am collapsed. That's great. Maybe they'll mill something to get with the Revels. Oh, I thought it was. I didn't realize it was Rakdos. I thought it was the 2-drop. That's funny. Yeah, we'll get ourselves Rakdos. Sure. Do that with the Revels. Yeah, we'll get the Juggler over the Mangler, I think. I mean, I know what you mean. I would not call him bad for us. I would call him superfluous. We're casting Rakdos if they do something bonkers to wipe the board or whatever. Look, you can say everything you want to say, but I will point out that I dead reveled Rakdos and Oppo immediately scooped. So, scoreboard. Let's see now. Consign. So, Azorius Control. What do we care about there? Final payment. Drill bit might get something from them. I think I like going back into the air with a second imp. Over the roustabout, maybe? Or maybe the recluse. I'm going to cut the recluse and stay a little bit lower. We're going to keep this, but start with the gate and then go into Trumpeter to try and support a Juggler if we find a third land. Might play the white. I suppose either of these could get countered here. We're going to try the white, though. Well, it looks like a counter. Not sure what else would be active for blue-blue besides a... thought... Yeah, what is that? What was that stop? Figure it out, chat. What do they have for blue-blue that they didn't decide to fire off right there? Fairy? Fairy, sure. Maybe it's the fairy. I like it. Good call. If they had capture and didn't cast it, that seems insane to me. I mean, maybe they're being greedy and just want the counter or something, but seems like fairy is the right read. And we'll go ahead and send in the Plague White here. Now, we could also go Trumpeter, Footlight Fiend, so that if they have the Essence Capture, we have more plays to make. I kind of like that. Let's start with the Fiend, see if they want to counter it. Yeah, they might have just decided they were going to let the white resolve. They're being very selective if it's capture, so this kind of makes me think it's the duelist. It felt duelisty before. Okay, it was capture. They were just waiting for something better, I guess. But now we get Bladebrand, Footlight Fiend nonsense next turn. Especially if they play tap out for a creature here or something. Too bad no creature. Now we got to decide whether the attack is actually worth it here. If we make a 1/3, that blocks everything. I'm going to be patient, and we'll just... we're going to mangle. And I'm going to do it now while their counter threats are lower. Or, you know, where they're tapped low. Still a pause. I guess they can sacrifice that even without anything. So yeah, now with the dog out, there's no tells. Okay, this is perfect-ish. Perfect-ish. Especially because we even get to go send in the Footlight Fiend. If they don't block, we get to cast a Footlight Fiend and have the same play up. Oh, this is so good. And here's another. Some value there, just a little bit. I'm going to offer whatever they want and get this juggler down so that we can try and find a land. No land, but a pretty tight hand here. Yeah, they were tapped out. I was worried about the indestructible play, but it was perfect there because of the tap out. All right, there we go. This... They are showing counterspell mana. But they can have the first inheritance. Expecting Thought Collapse, yep. Rakdos back to the yard. Locket is great for us to see there. And more mana is also great for us to see. I think we still have the Revels in the deck somewhere. Yeah, it's in the deck. I have my thing here that shows that. We could cycle the Blade Brand, but I want to play the Inheritance. And let's just go right to the face. Not often I'm throwing Skewer the Critics to the face in Limited that doesn't end the game on the spot, but there you go. Okay, made it to Gems, and closing in on Profit. And for us, 3 wins is definitely profit because of all the booster packs and the gems that we ground during the draft portion. All right, so I really want another match win. Let's get this free-to-play account to 3 wins. For those of you joining us later today, we have introduced a bunch of new emotes today on the channel. So if you're not a subscriber yet, there's more of a reward for you to do it now. If you sub, you get access to 9 emotes, soon to be a 10th. This looks great. We'll keep this. We could start on basics and go Fiend, Trumpeter, and then if nothing on 3, that's when we play the gate to go to 4. It gets us a little more aggro, so let's do it. Could be a fairy, but I'm going to risk it. Well, they had a pause, so... Well, we got that Blade Brand now. We can toss the gate here with no other play. And... send it all in. Judged. Oppo's stuck on land. We'll see if we can make that pay for us. Roustabout, you are late. Obviously late. Actually going to play the Roustabout here. It might get countered anyway with what they have open, and it does more damage, so if it does resolve... we're at least hitting harder. Probably just send in and Blade Brand however they block. We could also get the point. If we Blade Brand however they block, then we get Plague White in addition, so I like that. Like, what we lose is the ability to do the super sneaky Blade Brand on Footlight Fiend to kill 2 things. But I think that's worth it to keep stuff off table, to keep attacking. Skewer for next turn will be good, probably, hopefully, maybe. But it's nice to have a get to the point ready. We're not exactly applying a lot of pressure, but we are threatening a decent amount. Here, I'm up for offering a trade for either of our 2 creatures to then drop the Carrion Imp. We could use Skewer on the Griffin or whatever, but when I can use 2 drops as removal for 4 drops, then I just prefer to do that. Draconis, good time zone to you. Welcome. We're not going to skewer anything here, so we'll just let it keep up the guild gate. And let's get rid of that thing. All right. Chili Bee.
All right, everyone, chill.
Now that is a use for a skewer if I ever saw one. Wish we could attack with the Imp, because we could actually get an extra 2 in, and I do want to cast this while their shields are down, so we're going to do this. Now we've got to get the point. If they try to make a creature-based stabilization play, we get to get the point and crack in for another 5. Looks like they're pondering removal options with how they're hovering. I'm down with drawing Absolution. We've got some tools in hand, though. They got to play creatures eventually, right? This isn't a Clear the Mind deck. Ooh, well, they get some life back. Hey, thank you for the sub, Chunk Tug. Enjoy the emotes. Bottom that. Get that the heck out of here. Boo, more land. Windstorm Drake. I've got something for you too, Windstorm Drake. It's called a Skewer. Will it work? They got something in hand. Maybe they can save it? Sure. Can't save it, but they got some value out of it. And we're just gonna attack 9 times with a Footlight Fiend. Oh, come on, deck. I suppose it's giving both of us land here, but this is enough of land now. How many do I have in my yard? Oops. What's our odds here? Anything in the yard? No. More land, more land. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 7 of 20, 13 of 20 spells. 13 of 19 spells.
All right, everyone, chill.
Are you serious? Well, the Blade Brand is nice to have alongside the Footlight Fiend, especially if they play another creature to try to stabilize. That's pretty good. Gets them some life back, but it's going to be eventually a 2-for-1 for us. Play another creature. Huh. I'm going to play this and wait. I believe they will play another creature. And I really want to try and get super value out of this Blade Brand Footlight Fiend. And there you go. That's kind of what I was waiting for. All the land, though. All the land. We're going to get all the land. Not sure they can afford to not to not block there. Hopefully this resolves. They've drawn a couple spells that they're not casting. Ah, the worst possible outcome. Actually milled 2 lands, though. We'll go to the face. And just like that, because we can't stop flooding, we're gonna lose this one? You gotta be kidding me with this land flood. This is about as bad as... 11, 12, 13... We have 15 of 17 lands have revealed themselves. We need Showstopper now. Really frustrating if we lose this one. Like, oh my god, frustrating. This still allows us to cast Rakdos. That's not what I meant by Rakdos. You gotta be kidding me. I cannot believe we lost this game. 15 lands of 17, and in our final 10 cards is frickin' Absolution and Rakdos the Showstopper. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, Rakdos got milled, so maybe I'm complaining over nothing that I could draw. No, that was another game. Rakdos is in there. Alright, I've not wanted to win 2 games straight this badly in a long time. I really want to pull this match out. Let's do it. This could be a drill bit matchup because they're holding a lot of counters for some of our key stuff. I like another imp in the air. I'm gonna knock down one of the blade brands. And I'm gonna take out the recluse. Take a consign as well. Yeah, Storm Racer. It's one of Magic's Model T features, as I call them. Magic is a Model T game in that it has some baked-in flaws, but is still the most important thing of its kind that has ever been made, basically. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we're at 40. I could run with this. We're running with this. Any other changes? Could run a final payment for more flying control. I think this is good, though. All their flyers are 3, so these are good against it. Gonna be that way, huh? I don't know if I want the Fiend here. Ostensibly, it's the right time for it, but I want more power than this, and this just doesn't seem powerful. I'm gonna put it to the bottom because I'm looking for power. Well, gonna try. Might get countered, but can't live in fear. Gotta try it. We got a Revels at least to get it back. But can I have an Oppo not just have everything all the time? How about that? Maybe I should have played an upright land to get the extra 2 in here since there's nothing else to do. Not going to Revels for the 1 juggler. But now we got something worth... Now we got a Revels worth doing. IGI... Yeah, I'm going to play it now because it's auto spectacle, so we'll be able to Revels and get the juggler back in the next turn. And what do we want to trade for the vampire? I'm going to play the juggler because I want to see more cards. Imp is nice in the air. Oppo doesn't have a creature for us to get 2 life off of yet, but probably, hopefully we're trading with this vampire soon. Although with what... They're hovering over their own vampire. Makes me think they're going to aura it up or something here. Ah, they considered it, but it goes to the spirit instead. All right, get the point is a nice draw because that spirit is somewhat problematic, and we can even circumvent Quench with our current mana, so I love that. I'm going to go do this first. Get thee to the bottom. So, do we try a Trumpeter? I guess we try a Trumpeter, see if it gets countered, and then decide if we want to attack. Okay, no counters left. Trumpeter actually starts to threaten more damage than the juggler here, so I'm going to actually hold back and offer the juggler for the vampire if they try to attack. Yeah, Spirit in the Sky is one of the memes I was considering for creating for the stream. Still might, but we're getting a little late in the cycle.
All right, everyone, chill.
No 1U counter anyways. There's Quench. In fact, Oppo used Quench on us. We get both of these cards. That's cool. But we'll start with the card draw. No, Oppo didn't have... Oh, yeah, didn't have. I see what you're saying. Yes, correct. We noted when that was cast that it snapped through and they clearly didn't have a Quench. Well... we are doing the best we can to race. It's not easy, but we're going to try. And we only get 1 activation here because I want to play the other Trumpeter. I think that's correct. Oh my god! It's like, maybe we can do this. Please, I don't want to lose. Oh, I really want to win this match. Okay, okay. Does that allow us to... okay, we can do some stuff with that. We have 3... we have... Mangler and a Pump. And if we mangle, we cannot sack the inheritance anyway, so we definitely want to pump. And if they think they're golden and they're not, like if they're blanks from here, maybe we just get them. If we get countered here, though, it's over. No! Oh, this deck is so good, and we're gonna get quenched out of it? Oh my god! Quenched out of it. So bad. Good deck, Oppo. I loved our deck. We literally never cast Rakdos, and we cast Absolution all of once. Magic is rough sometimes. We just took some lumps there. Deck would not cooperate. Excellent deck that would not cooperate. Dang it.